So, you know, I kind of didn't want to do this rant. I didn't want to do this rant, but I am gonna do this rant now. And I only didn't want to do this rant because more or less, this is gonna sound weird, but I didn't want to basically just like completely go in, or like for lack of a better term, destroy my ex girlfriend in a rant. So I don't know how I'm probably gonna try to say this in more of a nice way, more to how I want to say it, like in a mean way. So this is something that I've dealt with my whole life with people, and I've come to realize that simply there's different types of people, but ignorance is just ignorance. You know what I mean? And like the worst type of ignorance is when someone thinks they're smart or thinks they know something, but they're actually 100% wrong. You know what I mean? And I thought I'd have to speak on this, and I'm speaking on this for specific reasons. The specific reason is because I'm a certain type of person, and I noticed that I'm pretty much, I wouldn't say stuck, but I'm pretty much in an environment, in a culture, in a world that I don't belong. You know what I mean? I'm a guy who, um, like as far as like nature, right? Like I used to use the word nature, and like my girlfriend would get annoyed. Ex girl, well ex now. She'd get annoyed. She'd be like, "What? Don't you mean? I hate it when you say that. Don't you mean outside?" And I'm thinking like, outside and nature is two different things. I live in an urban environment and I live in a city. If I walk outside, that is not nature. You walk outside, you see like cars, you smell cigarette smoke, people are spitting on the ground. Um, cop car goes by, bus goes by, garbage truck. That's not natural. That's not nature. That's man. Those are man-made. This is a man-made construct. Nature means the woods. Okay, where animals are. There's water. There's streams. You know what I mean? There could even be caves. There's trails. There's mountains. Like there's valleys. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? But then the type of person like she is personally, and a lot of other people are, then they think you or they act like you're calling them stupid. Well, if you don't want to be called stupid, then why do you say stupid things all the time? You know what I mean? Why do you act like you were raised in a bubble? And then this is the icing on the cake, which I hate the most, is this like acceptance or this disconnection they want to have from nature, but then they want to be or act like they want to be in the mix of this city. Nothing's wrong necessarily with that if that's what you're into, but that's just not me. You know what I mean? And um, another thing I hate is, and this is a red flag you have to watch out for people. And this is all what I mean about ignorance. When you always have a reason for something, and then someone tells you you always have an excuse for something, that's a big red flag. Because the thing is, if someone can't be an adult enough to even see their own faults in the first place, to see why you have certain reasons and you say things a certain way and you make certain decisions and whatever, that shows that they don't understand what a reason is. You know, there's a difference between an excuse and a reason. You know, often an excuse is because you're trying to cover up something. An excuse is like you're not owning up to something that you simply should, so you're making a false reason to try to convince someone of a narrative, right? That's an excuse. A simple reason, just like for instance, I come home. I'll give you an example. Like I would come home from work and go straight to my room. Everything is in my room right here, obviously. You know what I mean? All of my clothes are here, everything. I have to charge my phone, so why would it make sense for me not to go straight to my room? You know what she would say? Oh, well, what is it? You don't want to be with me anymore? Why are you going straight to your room when you get off from work? What? That's not even rational thinking. No rational, sane person thinks that would ever say something like that, right? But yet and still, she'll say things just like that. We'll get into an argument, right? She'll say something like, "Oh, in the just out of nowhere, like during while we're in an argument or talking, you hate me." I'm thinking like, "Are you 5 years old, bro? Are like what's wrong with you?" It's like you act like a child. All you do is spend time around children. Your children have ruined your life, and you don't even have any clue how to treat a man or how to talk like have one conversation like an adult. Um, you don't know how to sacrifice of yourself to be in a relationship. It's all about you. It's all about what you want. It's all about your kids. It's all about uh, when you want money but you have no way to budget. You have no clue how to budget. You don't believe in using microwaves. It's something about ignorance. You don't believe in using a microwave and wonder why you never have any money because you think that you're just gonna make a meal every single time. And then even when there's times where you would make a meal, you don't make it because you say you have cramps or you're in pain or whatever, so you throw food out, or you throw food out because you think it's too old because you didn't cook it, because you let it sit there. You have no structure. See, you have no backbone. You have no structure. You have no rationale or any stable patterns. Like you're all over the place, and it's because you just lack the skills to be an adult and be rational. You think that using a microwave is going to kill you. You think using an air fryer is so unhealthy that it's going to kill you or cause health issues. No, it's made so you can save money, you fool. So you can have a quick solution to reheat something so you can eat it. So you don't have to throw something out and then try to just make a meal out of your butt. You know what I mean? Like, where'd this meal come from? Oh, duh. You have to spend money to go buy these things again to make another meal. Wow. How about you put something in the microwave? There's a thing called leftovers for a reason. Oh, but you believe something you probably read off the internet or something that it's going to give you cancer, or it's going to kill you or whatever, right? So you're a fear monger also, and you're ruled by fear. I told her that once and she didn't understand what I meant. She took it as an insult. What I mean is, you let irrational fears of things make have a big effect on you because you make big life decisions based on things that you don't have to actually worry about, but you convince yourself, and that's what I mean. But you're so smart all of a sudden. You know what I mean? You're so smart. Oh, you have it all together. Okay, so you think you're the brains of this thing. Okay, so you really believe that you know something, but you don't know so much that you think you know. And that's what I mean about ignorance, right? So, then, someone will look at myself, person like myself, and critique me and say all these things and say, oh, she told me once that I can't even act like a human being. And I'm thinking, like, I didn't say it, but I'm thinking, like, you do realize that your hands look like they're going to fall off of your body because they're so dry, because you wash your hands so many times. You don't even understand, like, this is the thing. She doesn't, she's a germaphobe. She doesn't understand, like, how, and then she's very contradictory. Like, for instance, wiping your son's butt at what age is he? 7 years old still? He still has you literally wiping his butt. He doesn't know how to wash his ass. He does not know how to, you know, he goes in the bathroom and sits on the toilet bowl with your cell phone, woman, and and that's sanitary. Oh, she's like, I'm not touching the poop. I'm touching the wipe. Like, you just don't. You're missing the whole point. You got your son on the bed and you're wiping your son's butt. Like, that's where you even choose to do that thing. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's the contra. It's just, it's all retarded. You know what I mean? And it's way more than that. But I'm just saying this to say, like, just pure ignorance. You know what I mean? Pure ignorance in a person who lacks the uh basic skills to see what's in front of them, to see actually how wrong they actually are. Uh, but then, has a stupid, twisted opinion, a twisted opinion of a person like myself who's trying to actually tell you what you need to know in the things that every damn thing actually that you need to change so that you could actually change things and make your life better, but you don't want to listen because you think you're right. You think you have it all figured out, and you don't have half of it. In fact, you're mentally ill and don't even know it. You don't know how mentally ill you are. You know what I mean? And like for me, speaking personally, of seeing this person's uh, episodes, right? I'll just call them that. Can tell that's like you're not like you need help actually. Like she actually needs help. You know what I mean? It's personal talking about. But just people, individuals in general. This is what I mean about the ignorance. It's just like you get people like this a lot, like people like her. Like that. They had kids for however the hell it even happened. But however it happened, it was the dumbest decision they could have ever made in their life, and it ruined and stole everything from them. And then the thing is, if you were tough enough as a person in all ways, not even just mentally, physically, anything. Like, if you're just tough enough, but you're not. You're a soft little baby. You're a big baby. You know, a person like that. The thing is, they would have to understand like the processes they would have to go through. Like for instance, the things they'd have to deny their children. They would have to suffer through a lot of tantrums that they probably literally couldn't handle mentally, but they would have to try in order to change the dynamic. Because the problem is, once you create a foundation in a kid's mind, a child thinks that it's hard for them to break out of something that they know. You know what I mean? For you to just snatch the rug out from underneath them and, you know, make everything a way that they can't stand, and they have to suffer through that. But that's the thing you have to make, because unless your decision is okay, it's more about their happiness than yours, which it's not. That's what I mean about ignorance. It's like, why do some adults have spoiled kids have this mentality? Like, they think that life is about the kids. It's not about the kids. You know what I mean? It's only about them if that's what you choose. And if it, then you're a slave. You know what I mean? Like, you can still try to be a parent, but that doesn't make you a slave. But like, I see, that's what I mean. Some people don't understand. And then, like I said again, when it comes to treating a man, like if I come in the picture, the problem was that you thought you knew how to have something. You don't know how to have. In a person like that, you can't have a spouse, a husband, or boyfriend, or because you don't understand how to even treat them. You don't even you think that it's about, oh, you have emotions and you have feelings. No, the problem is you don't understand. The only people you don't know how to even treat your own kids that you spoil. You know how to spoil them. That's a problem. See, you've got it twisted. You don't know necessarily how to treat them nice, because you're not treating them nice, or what you're doing is you're enabling them. You're not even nurturing them. You're crippling them because you're too soft, and that's why they're spoiled as hell and ruin your life, and you're a slave. Like, you literally are a slave. You can't work. You can't get a job. You can't even go out for 20 minutes alone. You can't even spend real time with, if you have a boyfriend, the time you're supposed to spend with a man. You can't put the energy into that because you're ruled by two monsters, or however many little monsters that you have. So, and then you claim up and down how much you love them and this and that. Well, guess what? That's all you're gonna love. Not necessarily saying for the rest of your life that's you're gonna do stuff like that, but your actions are causing that effect in your life. So you might as well put a ring on your kid's finger and become a fucking incestual, because that's pretty much who you're. That's the only other half you have. You know what I mean? And you have no time for anything else. So, but you put yourself in that position. This is what I mean about ignorance. You know, just like similarly, it's like the Christians, right? I talk on like, this is one reason why for a long time I haven't been a Christian. I actually became a Satanist, right? But oh, what do I know? What could possibly be beneficial about Satanism, right? This is something about ignorance, right? So it's just like the Christians with the self sabotaging nature, and not having enough intellect to see what is in front of them, to see that, like, yes, there are certain types of Christians that are successful, but this is the thing. If you're not a successful Christian, and by success I mean like really honestly look at your life. Like, where did your what do you call it? Where did your how do I say this? Like, where did your life take so how many turns to put you in the position that you're in now? And what did you learn from this supposed religion that you follow or whatever, right? What did you actually learn, or what were you able to actually accomplish from it? You know what I mean? And if I look at you and I can say, like, okay, with just an honest opinion, screw feelings, screw, if you're my family members for this, if I can honestly say, like, you're a fool because you just have no clue what's actually going on, and you just lost like so many years of your life, and you gave so many years of your life to nonsense, and you're always in the completely wrong direction, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, but what do I know? It's like, what do I know? you know so what I'm really trying to get at is I'm trying to get at the fact that ignorance comes in many many forms, and it's often the most like it's often the most headstrong, thinking they have things together in their mind type of people that are usually the most lost. It's usually the most person who thinks they're so normal, which I have to laugh because, like, I'll say, the example like I use my ex-girlfriend, it's like you are blind as hell because you are the least normal person. It's like, look at your living situation. You know, look at your day to day. Look at how the fear that hangs over your head that the cops could be called, that your kids could be taken away. Look at the place that you live in, the atmosphere that you're forced to live in, right? Look at yourself in the mirror. You know what I mean? Like, actually look at yourself in the mirror and look at all the things that you've actually done to yourself. That it wasn't someone else's actual problem. Be honest with yourself, right? But see, that seems like an impossibility with someone like her. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people like that. So what I'm saying is, you know, I live in a like I said, a culture, an area, and this is generally what I've been through most of my life, and it's really what it really honestly boils down to. It really boils down to money in the end. At the end of the day, someone will say, okay, well, how come you can't go places and meet people of a certain caliber, people of certain substance, or people that have a certain type of intellect, that actually have, that are just smarter, you know what I mean, that aren't are so ignorant, you know what I mean. The issue is, you know, to how do I say this? To have a reliable vehicle, pay for gas, make payments, make sure that car, works. If something bad happens, make sure that you can patch it up, whatever. All of those things that you have to take into consideration take a significant amount of money, right? And you have to understand, like, this is something people don't really get. Time, time is a value thing. So if you're thinking you're gonna work yourself to death, like you're gonna literally sit here and work and work and work and work and work and work, so much time has passed in a day, just in a day. You know what I mean? Of valuable people that you could have met. You know what I mean? Um, Places you could have went. You know what I mean? All that time is just slipping through your fingers while you are trying to save, while you are trying to budget, while you're trying to, acquire this vehicle, while you're investing into this vehicle. and you know you're investing time into whatever company or profession or whatever you're doing, and that's something I feel like people don't really focus on. You know, like people don't understand that aspect of it. Of like, yeah, you can do it that way. In honestly, that's the only way that I'm even in. You know, inside of a place with a roof right now is because it's just going to work. You know what I mean? Being able to pay rent. What I'm saying is to take it to the next level. You know what I mean? Like I said, you know, like in terms of finding a girlfriend out there that's actually has her head on straight, that actually does not have that is not a slave. You know what I mean? That is did not make a stupid decision and is not just a servant to children. You know what I mean? Or that put themselves in an institution in a situation that they're institutionalized and are trapped in a bubble, stuck in a bubble, relying on the state, can't even work, doesn't work, you know, you're basically all you can do is hold your hands out and hope for the best, you know what I mean? Because you couldn't really do much yourself if you tried. You know what I mean? In the only hopes of you really is like you will hopefully you meet some rich man that is actually like rich, you know, that has a vehicle and he can pretty much not necessarily just get you out of the situation, but he can do so much for you. But I'm gonna admit, her in particular, she doesn't deserve that anyway. I'm just gonna be honest. You know what I mean? It's like yeah, you want people to be happy, but at the same time, you just the truth is the truth, and the truth is she doesn't deserve that. It's not even a person like that shows why they're in the situation they're in, and clearly shows me from my dealing with them that they don't deserve much better because they still haven't learned certain lessons that they should have learned. You know what I mean? And they already have a spoiled mentality anyway, and they don't understand why they're a big ass baby. So being like a trophy wife to someone who has all these funds, they're not really gonna learn. Like yeah, they'll thrive. You know what I mean? Like any gold digger esque trophy wife person would. Duh. You know what I mean? Like even if I was rich, like if I had all the money, which I'm pretty sure, I'll be honest and say, I don't think we would even be broken up if I had all that, if I had the money. Like if I was a rich guy, I don't think me and her would have broke up. I think we would still be together because there wouldn't be that like there would be certain things to argue about, but the money would solve so much other things that it would be an afterthought and it would be more of a long-term goal in my mind to try to like teach her things because she thinks she knows, you know what I mean, and she doesn't. Um, so you get what I'm saying, right? You get that's simple to understand. You get what I mean. But that's just a hypothetical situation because I'm not a rich guy. You know what I mean? My point is, like I said, there are good women out there. Like I could go and I could find, if I had the means and funds, find a girl who's everything better than she is in every capacity. More attractive, no kids, you know what I mean? Isn't institutionalized, actually understands the value of a dollar for starters, understands how to budget, XYZ is, agreeable, not mentally unstable, and all of that. You know what I mean? Um but like I said before, it's about money at the end of the day. Like I as a person can't just get up and just have a vehicle to just go so many friggin' places and meet so many women that I could just do that, right? So it doesn't just work like for me it doesn't just like work like that. You know what I mean? For me, it's like I'm generally stuck in one place and have to stay close to the area I'm in for various reasons. Like one, conserving calories. Like someone as thin as myself needs to eat and build muscle, work out and eat. You're not running around. You're not going here and there and everywhere. No, you need to stay. You need to stay in one place for the most part. If you're gonna go somewhere, like you need to drive. Like you need to drive. You know, you can't be like I said. time, you have to understand how, like, calories is one thing because you're expending precious calories and nutrients in your body that needs to be stored, right? Time, like I said, you're spending time doing something, so you can't physically, like, if you're going to spend some time doing something, you need to be spending some time in the gym. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm in here and my skinny ass is lifting these weights or I'm doing calisthenics, or if I have to go to an area to do certain type of exercises, right? That takes time, but that's the thing is you're managing your time in the right way. When like, I'm not employed now, I'm looking for a job, but when I was working, you know, um, you're managing, like, obviously you wouldn't want to be doing that. You'd want to be, getting some form of a passive income, at least even with that. You know what I mean? Like internet sales, something like that. Um, but the struggle with that is, finding a way for your platform to get attention, to draw in that type of attention, right? Which I haven't been successful with because YouTube is such like a saturated atmosphere that I'm invisible pretty much compared to everyone else on this platform. You know, so just like a rant I'm doing now is something with that, like, I have to do. I have to keep doing to even try to get any attention on YouTube, right? So these are all things that, like, the problem is this is most people kind of understand these things, but they don't really think about them because they're very robotic. They're very programmed and very instinctual. They just get into a mode and then they just do and just do and just do and just do. But what if, this is my question, what if you're doing all the wrong things all the time and you don't even notice? That's what I mean. That's the difference between an ignorant person and a person who is a little bit smarter, but is looked at as like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, who is he? Oh, blah, 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 blah. And you have all this judgment, all this, but that's because you're that ignorant person. You know what I mean? So you actually don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm really trying to hit home with this is you meet a lot of ignorant people, and like I say again, in certain environments you meet a lot of certain type of ignorant people in certain environments, like the environment that I'm in right now. You meet a lot of people who are just stupid. You know what I mean? And like I was saying, you know, um, even like, I'll even say it like this. They have like conventions, like, so it's a lot of like-minded people in one place. Like I always say, car. You need a vehicle to go there. You need to be able to pay for that. Gas. Yes, you could use like Uber or something like that, but like I have to get to that point. You get what I'm saying? Like that. So, what I'm trying to basically say, I'm just reiterating that, again, like, what I'm really trying to stress is that, like, see, this is one of the reasons why it's not like money is the root of all evil. Money is, no, no, no. The problem is this: ignorant people would even believe something like that, but and I'm going to talk because that's not really so black and white, but I'm just going to say that for another rant. But what I'm really trying to say is this: I'm trying to say you have to understand that things work a certain way for certain reasons, and you need certain things to do certain things, or else you'll just almost you how do I say this? You'll never, almost never, get certain things because you don't have certain things. So this is why this is a money struggle. This is a money chase. Okay, this is trying to make as much money as I possibly can for those reasons, right? I mean, like, think of it. Think of it this way: if I even wanted to do some redneck hillbilly crap, like hunting hogs or something, right? Like, let's say that's probably just a hobby, because obviously, you probably don't need that hog meat to really survive. But I mean, You probably it's a more of the sport of the hunt, but the thing is, this is like even to do that as a hobby, which is something I obviously would do. Like who, what normal man would not at least pique his interest if someone said that they were going to hunt hogs and wild boars and pigs. You know, like even the most primitive people do that, and like the most primitive places would be doing that, whether it's survival or whatever. But that's another thing. But I'm just saying, like, you have to understand like the smallest things, like simple, like people go fishing. It's like you see the guy on the bridge and he's fishing over the bridge, and like you're thinking like, bro, that water is rusty. That water has sewage in it. That water's got all types of chemicals, bro. I know you may want to go fishing, but yo, this is not the area to fish. Go somewhere else, please. I mean, do you? But honestly, I'm just looking at it like, I don't know, man. This is what I mean about money. It's like there's certain things, yeah, you could do under a bridge for free. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of something that would make more sense. Um, well, I mean, I'm trying to think of something that sounds less sinister. Like, I was gonna say if you were trying to do some type of spell casting or something that you may need to go near water and go under a bridge because there's probably water under a bridge, obviously. But I mean, okay, like let's say if you're looking for something like an eel or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make an example to say like, yes, there's things that cost no money, and if you live close enough to where a bridge is or under a bridge, yeah. But what I'm saying is, you want to go fishing where it's actually somewhere where people fish because it is sanitary and it's what I mean. And certain waters are just not good for that. That's what I'm trying to say. Like that's what I'm trying to say. But like I said again, like you gotta think like the license, the hunting and fishing. You know what I mean? Then you have to have your equipment. You know what I mean? And preferably you want a vehicle. You know what I mean? Because where are you gonna just? That's what I'm saying. So, and then you get ignorant people again. Like they think it's just such magic. Like because in their this is what I mean about the ignorance. In their minds, they're so used to people having things that they always ask, well, why don't you have this, right? But they don't understand like the a certain type of people, a smart person in certain periods of time would make sense not to have those things because you have to it's like you have to get there. You have to gradually get there. You don't want to set yourself up for failure. Like for instance, you don't want to have a vehicle if you know that in your account you don't have X amount to hold you over so that you are not living paycheck to paycheck, right? So that when you make payments on things, you still have X amount. You get what I'm saying? That's just like it's kind of like a no-brainer concept, but this is what I mean again. People don't understand this. And then like I'll say again, I'm going to cut this off at this point. But then you get people like my ex-girlfriend, you get people who let's say they get they're on like whatever program or they get this much money a month or whatever. How do you this is my question. How do you get a certain amount that a month that you don't work for? And you don't know how to and you can't find a way to budget that to the point to where that you have something saved. It doesn't make any sense. See, the problem with me, this is what I mean, and this is a problem that I'm trying to overcome and find a way out of this. Like I said before, I've worked. You know what I mean? My store closed, so no more place to work. Now I'm looking for jobs. But this is what I have to say. When I got my butt up and went to work, I worked. That's where the money came from. No, there's no funnel. There's no under the table. No one, no state, no was um giving me money. Like I had rental assistance at one point, but that's assistance, and then that stopped. You know what I mean? That was just for a time period, and then it stopped. So What I'm saying is, if you literally are getting a handout from someone, how you should be the budgeting like master, because you should know, like common sense should tell you, okay, there has to be a system that I can like really blow this thing up. Like, there has to be a way where I can save in this, because I'm getting handed to me. And then you also, on top of that, would, if you're smart enough, you would say, okay, well, what else can I get for free? Like, there's pantries. And then you'd have to say, instead of doing some stupid crap like, oh, I want to wait until my kids are asleep and then have someone watch them while I go play pool or whatever, or the bar or something like that, right? Whoever this person is, you know what I mean? If you think of something like that, how about you think of no. How about you think of a time period where you can go to a food pantry that some food is free, and then go there, get that free food, and then also have a grocery budget. Not, oh, the meat's bad. Oh, let me just go buy groceries all over again, and then you end up going like making 3 grocery trips in 1 week or something. You know what I mean? With your money that you don't even have, or you're gonna ask someone like me for money who they don't have the money to give you, but because they care, they may help you. It's like, this is what I mean about the stupidity, right? And then this is another thing, and I'm gonna cut this off. Um, there's people who are already above these things. Like I said, you meet a woman, she already has a car. Um, her family's not in debt. She's not in debt. You know, she actually can help me, and actually is adult enough and an actual rational, sane enough person to who actually cares to actually help me. You know what I mean? And that would be a good woman to have. You know what I mean? And that's obviously what now I'm looking for. See, this taught me, just like a lot of things taught me a lot of lessons. My ex girlfriend, the last girlfriend I had recently, taught me a good lesson. And I'm gonna have to say, this is gonna sound mean. It's gonna make people mad, but I'm gonna have to say this. This is one reason why many people, I understand, take on a mentality to where they don't want to help people who are not already doing well, or let's say they don't want to help people who seemingly don't know how or want to help themselves in any way. Who it's always someone else's fault, right? Because you realize that the person that a lot of times seems like, oh, they're down on their luck, they seem like they can't get ahead, they seem like they're going through the emotional stuff, they're saying they're going through this, all this type of stuff. You don't want to help them anyway, because you think you want to help them, but you just get slapped in the face anyway. Because the problem with them is, like I said, they're big ass babies, ignorant, stupid, don't want to own up to anything, don't want to learn anything, and want to think they know everything. So it you just have to let them suffer. You know what I mean? You just have to watch them suffer and crash and burn, and learn that, like, you don't want to be the person who's trying to go and like help a situation. No, you want to be the person who who meets someone who helps the flaws of your situation, and then in return you help them with things. You know what I mean? You don't want to be the person who helps someone who really is undeserving or ungrateful, immature, so on and so forth. And I kind of understand why like some people seem snooty. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. A lot of it does have to do with ignorance, but it's a different type of ignorance. But whether they see it or not, sometimes like I do understand the anger that comes with a person who, like, because the thing about me is I'm not a person who like has anything, but I'm a person who at least has the intellect and the mentality to have something, and who knows how to value something when I do have it, right? And that's the difference. When you look at a fucking idiot, when you're a person like myself, you're looking at a fucking idiot, and this person thinks that they know something. It's very angering, and it makes you hate certain people. It just makes you hate, like, you hate the smell of them, you hate the look of them. You look at a homeless person, you want to tell them, get a job. You want to actually want to kick them in the face and knock their jaw loose and tell them, don't ask me for anything. You know what I mean? It's that type of anger. You know what I'm saying? So I I kind of get it. Like I kind of get it. You know what I mean? Like why some people are snotty as hell. You know, they have a lot of their stuff together. You know, they got their like their wife, or if it's a woman, you know, she has her kids and her husband, boyfriend, the dog, and the car. You know what I mean? And then she sees you, and you're not presenting that you have all these things, and then she looks at you judgmentally, not knowing, you know, whatever is the backstory. You know, and these people, you know, often people as a black person, people assume that white people are always looking at us like this. People are black, like, you know, uh, but but it's not. It's not even always that. It could be a black person looking at a black, or whatever, vice versa, or a black looking at a white person with their nose turned up. You know, and I get certain aspects of it. You know what I mean? Like they don't. They're just going off face value what they first see. You know, even though there's a lot more to it. What I'm talking about is a person like myself who's been homeless, had to live around homeless people before, had to live around every type of low life person, and understand how these people actually think. You know what I mean? How these people, why they're actually in the positions they're actually in, and understand like the difference between some people and other people. You know, like understand like this person may be here for good reason. This person's here because they're a complete jackass, whether they admit it, know it, you know, and so on and so forth. You know, and that's the opposite of the ignorance is to be able to understand and see things and actually understand things clearly. You know, and it's not from an emotional position either. It's from a very logical, rational standpoint because it's just facts. It's like these are just facts. You know what I mean? Um, and you know, like I was saying before, you know, there's a lot of people out there, but the thing is, they just haven't met me yet, and I haven't met them. You know what I mean? It's all about money at the end of the day because you know money makes things move. You know, money solves the problems. Doesn't solve every problem, but money puts you in the position that you even can have a stable base to solve problems. Like is like time. Just like one of the issues I had with my ex girlfriend was, and I told her this. I told her, you know what? We actually never actually have time to talk about anything. And like, I know you don't want to talk about it because you don't want to address the problem because you run from problems. You run from the truth. You run from anything that that challenges your thought pattern. So if someone says no, in your head you think no, it has to be yes because I'm right, and it needs to be, so there can't be an argument. Actually, it's an attack. You're attacking me. You know, I'll talk to you later. That type of. And it's like, oh no. See, you don't. And then you know, like I said, you're a slave because you have two children that are monsters. So you're a slave. So you're stuck, and you're not sane enough to actually not get out of control of your own self. So you can't be calm, so you're a slave again, and you're it's institutionalized, and you're an institution. So you don't give yourself you put yourself in a position not to have the time ever to sit down and talk like two adults because you're always doing something. Oh, the clothes aren't folded, so I think I have to fold every piece of clothes in the house. Oh, but now I have to wash another load. Oh, now I want to do the bathroom. Oh, now I have to do the stove. No, actually I have to cook. Oh, it's head, so I have to get them in the bath. Oh, now they're not going to bed. Oh, so it's an extra hour when it should have took a half an hour for them to go to bed. Oh, now it's I have to sleep with them because if I wake up or go away from my son for 2 seconds, even though he's 7 years old and should be sleeping in his own bed, oh, he's crying now. Oh, here we. Oh, so I see how this is. You might as well have a fucking chain. You might as well have ball and chain, fucking medieval dungeon style shit going on attached to yourself because that's what this is. See, but it doesn't have to be that because if your bitch ass would listen to them cry and let them fucking cry and actually be an adult and actually understand that Little stupid fucking motherfuckers are gonna cry. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, you're gonna cry. So what? You're gonna cry as many times as it takes for you to get out of the habit of sleeping in my goddamn bed. Get out of my bed, sleep in your own bed. You know what I mean? Shit like that. You're not having my phone. It's disgusting. You're gonna take a poop like an adult. You're gonna learn to wipe your ass because you're gonna be an adult someday, and that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna do all these things, and you're not getting not a single toy. You're not getting anything you want. Anything until you become the person that I want you to be. And when I start seeing that, then maybe you can have excellence. See, that's the problem. That's what I mean. Because see, with her, it's total opposite. See, you know what's the problem? Because it actually hurts her inside to hear them cry, which is irrational. Children, that's the thing. Children cry. Duh, like dogs bark. You can't have an emotional response to that and feel bad for them. Why would you? You're like a servant to them. Why would you feel bad for them? It doesn't make any sense. Something that gets everything they pretty much want 24/7 at your expense. Why would you feel bad if they feel discomfort or they cry or something? No. You know what I mean? That just shows me that you're soft, you're weak, and you're not an adult, and you're a child yourself, and you're irrational. And that's why you're in the situation you're in. And it's impossible. You know, you make everything impossible. So, this is what I mean about ignorance, and more ignorance. Alright? But there's a better way. So, but what do I know, right? So see, it's on this channel. This is why I have these type of rants and I talk about these things, right? And someone will probably say, "Oh, this is, you didn't say anything." Okay, you must be the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived. Like think that you didn't take anything, you didn't understand anything I've said in this entire rant. Okay, so yeah, that's just the rant. The rant is on basically how ignorance comes in many forms. Right, that's the title of this rant. This is Steve's Art and Fun channel. I apologize. I still have a cold. It's getting better, but there's still some stuff coming up. It's hot as hell in here. I'm gonna wash clothes today. That's why I'm not wearing summer clothes right now, because it's hot as hell. And I have to wash clothes. So basically, once I wash clothes, and I can put a t-shirt on, shorts on, or whatever. You know what I mean? So this is Steve's Art and Fun. Like, comment, and sub. And this is not like a fun rant or whatever. This is just a rant that's trying to tell you the type of mentality I have, the type of person I am, and tell you what I'm looking for, right? And tell you what I'm valuing, or what I'm searching for in life. And what I need is, what's the solution to most of my problems. You know what I mean? One, like I said, I need to find like a good girlfriend, which would become a good wife. You know what I mean? Someone that's not out of control. Someone that does not have children. And this is the thing, if you do have children, normal children at least, please, like children that at least understand to give adults space, that understand simple things like go play with other kids, do what you're supposed to be doing, listen to your friggin' parents, give your parents an adult space. You know what I mean? Just this like simple things, not monsters who act like retards that aren't retarded but act like it. You know what I mean? It's like, and then you act like one as well. See, that's crazy. So like I said, find a girl of substance. You know what I mean? And then meet people who are of substance. People that understand simple things like, you know, like I'm trying to make make channel changes, and I'm trying to run this channel or a business, or even if it's not a business, hobbies. Just people who think and do things. You know what I mean? Who actually are about doing things. I realize, like I said before, I live in an area, in a type of culture where I notice people I should turn this into 2 parts, actually, and I actually will. I'm gonna turn this into 2 parts.